CEOs are in trouble today, not because of incompetence, but because no one is telling them the truth. And here is the danger. When no one is telling the truth, as a CEO, you will know when things are going wrong in your organization. You will know when things need to be fixed in your company. And so when people are not telling you the truth, they are not only doing you a disservice, they are literally destroying the organization. From my experience, working with CEOs and executives, I have realized the higher you rise, the harder it is for people in the organization to tell you the truth. So the CEO is always in a very bad situation where no one is eager to tell the CEO the truth. Everybody in the organization wants to be in the good books of the CEO, and because of that, they will end up telling the CEO what they know he loves to hear, as opposed to what he really needs to hear. And so when this happens in organizations, the CEO will not be able to deliver the kind of results he or she is expected to deliver, because he is not always in the know of what is going wrong in the organization. And because he is not always in the know of what is going on in the organization, because the people are not telling him the truth, he will end up not performing to his or her highest ability. And this is why you see a lot of CEOs today underperforming, not because they don't have the competence, but because they don't actually understand what is going wrong in the organization. And that is a place I don't want you to be. I remember years ago, I led a section for an organization for the entire executives. And in that program, the CEO said something that I immediately knew that what the CEO was saying was not only wrong, but was something that would not work. But in fairness to the CEO, he sought for the other people input. I mean the other people in the room, the other executives and senior management. He sought for their input. But lo and behold, no one spoke in the contrary. All of them told the CEO what he loved to hear. I, Uji Omuzulike, I was the only one that said to the CEO, "Sir, if you go ahead to implement this, it won't be in the best interest of the company." And he asked me why. And of course, I told him my reasons. And when I finished, he said something that I will never forget in a hurry. He looked at all of them and said to them, "Why then do I have you in this place if you can't tell me the truth?" And this is exactly what happens in almost every organization today. No one is telling the CEO the truth, especially when the CEO truly needs to hear that truth. When the CEO truly needs to know what is going wrong in the organization. And so he's always at loss as to what is happening. And when he doesn't know what is going wrong in the organization, there's no way he can fix it. And so, what do I want you to do today as a CEO? What I want you to do today is something I believe will help you to fix this issue. And what is that? It will be in form of recommendation. I want you to hire what I love to call the Chief Truth Officer. This is a role I want you to introduce in your organization. And what would be the role of this Chief Truth Officer? The role of this Chief Truth Officer will be in three folds. number one, the chief truth officer's role would be to validate the CEO's assumptions. This is very necessary because the CEO cannot afford to make decisions based on false assumptions. So his or her role will be to always validate every action and decisions of the CEO to make sure that the CEO will not end up making suboptimal decisions. And then number two, the chief truth officer's role will be to point out the CEO's blind spot. Everybody today, not only the CEO, has a blind spot. And this is why I will encourage every CEO today to go and study what is called Johari window again. When you look at Johari window, you will see that we will always have the open self. By open self, I mean what you know about yourself and what other people as well know about you. And we also have the blind spot. The blind spot is what you don't know about yourself, but others do. And so when you have the chief truth officer, his role or her role will be to always point out to you your blind spot. That way you will not make mistakes in your organization. And then the third role. The third role will be for the chief truth officer to always, and I want you to underline that word always, to always speak candidly with the CEOs, especially on matters that concern the organization. If you can do this and have someone who will always challenge your assumptions, someone who will always make sure that any decision you will take will be decisions that are not based on false assumptions. And then when you have someone who will be there officially empowered to point out your blind spot, and then if you have someone who will speak candidly with you at all times, I guarantee you that you will succeed more as a CEO because you will not be at loss as to what is happening in your organization. Now you have someone that works with you that will be able to point out to you what others might not be able to point out to you. This is what I want you to have today. I want you to consider having the role of the chief truth officer created in your organization. When you do that, you will succeed. Thank you for watching. I am Uju Onwuzulike.